Okay, we will now discuss the maintenance code.
Okay, last but not least, our final item of the afternoon. So, the issue that the city of Findlay is seeing, especially on an enforcement side, the city of Findlay once or twice a year forces the demolition of a dilapidated structure. What the city really doesn't have is any way to intervene before it becomes a dilapidated structure. And I've heard arguments in the past, that we have a building code. We've adopted the Ohio building code. But one, that's not enforced. And two, the Ohio building code is very light on maintenance items. It's really focused on new construction, remodeling, etc. So, I looked at what many communities do, and my list didn't make it in. I have prepared a list. I included about 70 communities in Ohio that you have there. I don't think it made it onto the, yeah. It's not quite 70. I think it's between 50 or 60, and it's not an exhaustive list. But these are all communities that have adopted the Ohio Building Code and adopted the International Property Maintenance Code. And so that's what's before you is the International Property Maintenance Code. And one of the benefits of this, it's a standardized, legally vetted framework. IPMC, International Property Maintenance Code, is a national model code, tested in courts and updated every 3 years, providing cities with legality, reliability, and enforcement. It's flexible for local needs, and that's what we've done here. There was no interest in looking at the maintenance of the interior of the structure, electrical, plumbing, etc. What this proposal does simply looks at the exterior of the home. If you have, what we have found lacking is, the health department is not a help. The rules that we have within the city code are not a help. If we see a home with a 3 foot by 3 foot hole in the roof, there's nothing really on the books that says that needs to be repaired. And so by adopting this code, that's what we'll be looking at are these, when an exterior item, an exterior portion of the house is failing, this is the code that we would look to. So as you can see, we've redlined a lot of it. Some of the items we redlined are covered in other chapters. Some of the items we redlined had to do with the exterior or the interior of homes, which we're not looking to go into properties and do any, but we're looking at exterior items only. So that in general is my summary of what we're trying to do. The city feels like, we issue permits for new buildings. We forcibly tear down dilapidated buildings, but if someone is missing siding for 20 years, we don't have any recourse to say you need to repair that. I would like to think that everyone's going to be a good neighbor and they would maintain their properties, but that's usually the case, but it's not always the case. And there's an opportunity for the city to step in and kind of help the neighborhood out and say, hey, you have to.
Mr. Russell.
Mr. Feiner, in light of the conversations about the applicability of the time to complete construction ordinance, how would adoption of this be enforceable on any property? Because wouldn't they all be grandfathered?
I'll try to answer that. The one about the time for construction is a little different because somebody's taking out a permit and has to follow the rules that are in existence at that time. This is one of these sort of a violation of a maintenance code. How do I say this? A lot of times these things would say that each day is a new violation. We have those in a lot of our own ordinances now, that each day is a new violation. So if there's a requirement that steps have a railing, if they're a certain size or length or whatever, and you don't have that, the next day after this law passes, you're going to have it. It's looked at differently than, because there wasn't anything before. Now there is. Marijuana wasn't legal. Now it is, kind of a thing. This is a little different than that one.
Mr. Russell.
How do you see enforcement of this happening? Is it in a similar manner as we've already discussed? It's kind of a complaint driven. Is it Eric's driving around and sees something?
If I'm going to answer it, I'm going to guess it's going to be complaint driven. But I don't know the answer to what the theory is going to be here.
So the structure of what we have right now is complaint-based violations are on a complaint base right now for all general offenses. If the officer is going out in the neighborhood, he has been asked to take a look and make sure that other violations in that general block area radius aren't similar to what he's investigating on that matter, whatever he's in the neighborhood for. So with that being said, I would say that they would be complaint based like they are now, unless there's initiative from council where they're like, hey, in my ward there's really a lot of complaints about Councilman Niedermeyer's property, for example. Can we get a little bit more enforcement in this area? And then I could see that there would be maybe an initiative to possibly look to do a little bit more enforcement in there. But as it would stand, it would be complaint based, though.
Eric, I think we had talked, is there training associated with this code?
With this code, there are, whenever somebody is doing residential building code enforcement and property maintenance code enforcement, they do have a module from the ICC that they can take, but it's not necessarily an important piece of that, because you can look at somebody's sidewalk, as it says right there, with driveways and stuff, and make a determination without any kind of certification. Or if somebody has no siding and wrapping, weathering wrapping, you can look and say there's no wrapping and siding on the property. So there is opportunities for certification, but it's not necessarily a item that's needed.
Any other comments? Mr. Jarman?
I would like to read this. I haven't really had a chance to go through it, so I personally don't want to vote on this tonight. But
No, I agree. I think this is a complex issue, and I think the wooded lot was less complex. This is more complex, obviously. So my recommendation is to digest it a little bit, and we'll get feedback from the community and things like that also. So I did meet with had a nice meeting with the president of the rental association. And I know they'll be preparing some statements and some questions and concerns. We both agreed that we want to see our community well maintained. I think they just had a differing opinion on if this was best. So we'll be hearing from them and probably others in the future here. But yeah, no, I definitely agree that this is something to think about, and we can discuss it more in September.
Is overgrown landscaping addressed in here?
It is a little, if it, I believe if it hinders ingress, egress to the house, et cetera.
Okay.
But no, I mean, we don't get to judge the quality of their trimming and their prize rhododendrons and things like that.
Mr. Hellman?
I would just wanted to say, I agree with Mr. Diarmid. I'd like time to look at this.
Yep.
Have we seen this before?
No, I emailed it out last week. But no, this is the first discussion at planning and zoning.
All right, thank you.
I suppose
So bad.
I suppose that would be my recommendation moving forward. We digest this and we revisit it again next month. Agreed? I guess with that, I would accept a motion to adjourn. Mr. Niebuyer?
Sure.
All those in favor? Aye.